everybody. Welcome to another episode of Steel Roses podcast. This podcast was created for women by women. Little bit of an unorthodox episode today, coming to you live. You are going to hear a bit of an audio difference between our usual recordings, and that is because we are doing the thing where you are juggling everything as a woman and trying to prioritize and reprioritize. And so we are actually recording this while Melissa is commuting into work today.
Because nothing else
worked.
was happening.
We couldn't do it. We tried really hard. For our listeners who have been with us for a little while, you do know, the when we founded this podcast, it came from a place of, Melissa and I just chatting to one-to-one to ourselves, like, getting through things and working through being a woman and a mother and a professional and all the challenges that come with it. And this is one of those challenges. And 2 minutes before we started recording, Melissa's like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, we literally should talk about this, because it's frustrating. It's stressful because you want to do certain things and then you can't get to it. And it's like, I need to fit it in. Where can I fit this in? And sometimes you just have to pivot. And the pivot today is Melissa's recording in her car.
I am recording in my car, so hopefully the audio is okay. Yeah, no, 100%. I think and Jenny and I are a little bit, and it's so funny because we're only 4 years apart, but there are moments when the 4 years feels like no difference at all. And then there's those 4 years that do feel like a big difference. And because your kids have gotten to this stage where they're not little kids anymore, they're just kids. I think we're at one of those stages. So my schedule is just not aligning with Jenny's at this particular moment.
That's 100% accurate. So, what everyone has been hearing recently is like me doing solo recordings with guests. And the reason why that happened was because, well, one, I don't know if you can tell already, but I'm fairly aggressive with things. And so I was like chomping at the bit. Like, I want to record with people. Like, let's get some guests on here. And Melissa was excited about it as well, but we couldn't figure out an overlapping
between three people. Yeah, between three people, it was, and they, most of the recordings you did with guests were like first thing in the morning. And unfortunately, my little one, she is a morning girl like her mama, and she's up and at 'em, and then there's just no stopping. So
exactly. And and I want, and I had said to Melissa on several occasions, because she would also get like, she was like, I want to help. And I'm like, listen, like take like some solace in knowing like I can still do this, and to be fair, like once my kids are showered at the end of the day, for like from like 7 o'clock until 8:30, they're kind of just hanging out and they're watching movies, or they're playing games. I sometimes I'm engaged and I read with them if I don't have to do like other stuff, but I do get these large breaks in my day now, which is crazy because for so long I was like, when is this going to end? I have no time to even like think of myself. And so I'm here to also tell everybody, if you have small children and you're like going bananas and you're like, when is this misery going to end? Not misery, we all love our kids, blah blah blah, but when is the insanity going to stop? Everyone used to tell me like around 6 or 7 is when things start to settle down. And that's pretty accurate. Around 6, my twins are 6 and my son is 7. And the kids all went into their rooms the other day and they were just playing amongst themselves. And I was like, well, okay, I can read. Like this is weird. I can read for pleasure. Like, so Melissa has been trying very much to like, dig in here. And I told her, I'm like, I want this to be something that you look forward to. And I'm glad that we can record today while you're commuting in. But yeah, everyone, you got to take it easy on yourselves. You'll get there.
Well, my biggest thing, I'm sure other people with young little, toddlers or under, is like, my biggest thing is like, I want to absorb as much of this time as I can. So I try to be really present with her because I know I'm going to blink and Mia is going to be in school. And there are wonderful things that come along with that. But at the same time, I will never get this time back. So I'm trying to be super present, and it's just a juggle when you're trying to be present at home, when you're trying to be present at work, just like many of our listeners do and have to deal with as well. It's just, if you're really making that commitment to different things, it's, I don't know, my schedule is, it becomes very, very flexible, but at the same time, it's hard to keep like a static, like our intention was always to have like a static recording, like um, scheduled time, same day every week, and that's just not working
out. That's true. That's the other thing too, and the part of the reason why we want to be transparent here with everybody too is like we want you to know like this is not a smooth, seamless process. It's very much like we try really hard to be like, okay, we're going to do business meetings, focused business meetings on Sundays, and we'll record every Thursday. And we're like, yeah, we're going to do it. And then something will happen. We're like, Melissa's daughter will take a late nap, or my kids will be like, have an activity, or like somebody's upset and there's a problem and there's a tantrum or something happened with work. And this next, we both have jobs. So it's a matter of like also like being kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you're finding that you are overwhelmed with priorities and responsibilities, because that is happening to all of us. Like we're all just trying to do the best that we can. And I think we need to be gentle with ourselves. So last night when we were like, well, maybe we could record at 9. And then it was like, no, maybe 9:30. The night before that, Melissa was like, can we do it at 10:30? And I was like, that is way past my bedtime. I cannot do it at 10:30. And then it kind of hit us like, oh, maybe we can do like a morning commute in kind of just recording to catch everybody up. And then also, we want you all to know, like, you have to be flexible with yourself, be kind to yourself. Like, don't beat yourself up if you're not doing it exactly how you envisioned it. As I guess I'll call her my guru, Kathy Heller, always says, like, do it messy and just get it in there. And that's kind of what we're doing.
And sometimes it kills both of us because we both tend to be type A people. So it's not that it's easy, but we are cutting ourselves some slack. However, it feels like we've been doing this for years, and other days it feels like we just started this podcast last week. So, but we will be entering into season 2, and our intentions for that season is that Jenny and I are going to record one-on-one, discussing topics that interest you guys, things that come up, things that women are dealing with on a day-to-day basis that really aren't being spoken about. So that's still our intention, to do that twice a month, and then have guests, women's voices, women's stories, things that we believe our listeners can relate to or would find interesting, and have them come in every other week.
Yeah. So that's like the cadence we're hoping to go for. There has been like tons of key learnings as we've gone through this process, and part of like this episode is going to be a little bit quicker just because of the way we're recording it. But what we would love to do is kind of almost like our anniversary episode, like all the bits and bobs, and kind of bring you back full circle, like all the topics we've discussed, because you can believe it, actually, we've already published 25 episodes.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. And actually, I was at a family function like over the summer, and I remember one of our cousins was like, she was like, oh yeah, like I need to listen. Like, and I was like, there's quite a bit in there. And she opened up Apple and was like, oh, how many episodes have you done? I don't think anybody realized we were doing I don't think they realized we were doing it weekly and how committed we were to it, but this is like a big deal. And, I've had some of the guests that have interviewed, but thus far said, like, this is important. Like, please do this. Like, you got to keep going. And that's the other part of it too. Like, the flip of it is, yeah, we're trying to juggle it in our already current schedules. And yes, it is stressful and it gets overwhelming, and, that's all part of it. But the bottom line is we both really feel like this is important, and we want this to be a space for everybody. So it's really just something that like we'll continue to do, and we're going to make it work however we can make it work, even if it means that we're recording little mini-sodes while Melissa drives to work. Like, maybe it is.
This week was particularly this week and last week were particularly crazy and busy. So hopefully going forward it won't be like that. It's so funny, like not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, I was like, I'm on top of everything. I'm ahead of the game. It's going to be an easy week. And I literally jinxed myself because that night Mia got sick and spiked a pretty high fever. And I was like, son of a bitch, I did it to myself. And just from that little blip, it just threw everything off. Like it's funny how that happens. But yes, hopefully we won't need to record while I'm driving in the car. But we're making it happen, people. We are making it happen.
Yeah. We've had a lot of really great recent episodes, and I want to just give a little bit of teaser because the guests that we've been having on have been so wonderful. So I do really want to highly encourage, like, if you haven't heard the guest interviews thus far, we did 2 interviews with coaches that were very impactful, Coach Nami and Coach Brooke. Really, really great women, really just phenomenal approach to how they're doing things. I do want to like highlight those episodes. If you haven't heard them yet, check them out because there's just a lot there, and they themselves had a lot of resources to offer, which if you check out the episode, even if let's say you don't want to listen to the episode, you can click the links in the description and find the resources that we talk about in the episode because they were just highly impactful. The most recent episode that was released was a guest episode as well. Where I was chatting with Stephanie, and she's actually a podcaster as well. Her podcast is called Glow Big. She's on Instagram as well, and you can again check that episode out. There's links in the description that you can access for additional resources. Her episode was focused more we talked about mommy wine culture quite a bit and how that impacts people because there's this whole shift towards it's okay to throw it back a little bit. I know a lot of people do it. It's totally fine. But there's a lot of people that do it and then they start to lose their path because of it. So that's what we talk about in that episode if you're interested in hearing about that. And then we have some really cool other episodes coming up that are yet to be released. We have one with a woman named Claire who started working in affiliate marketing. She recognized that affiliate marketing was going to be something. And I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, she started working online as an affiliate marketer, and she grew her following from 0 people. I want to highlight this. She grew her following from 0 people, and now she brings in somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000 a month through affiliate marketing. Like, this, if not more, like it's a huge thing. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up now as a teaser to keep an eye out for that episode is because if you're listening to this and you're a stay-at-home mom, or you're listening to this and you're like in between jobs, or you don't love your job and you're looking, or even you love your job and you're looking for an additional income stream, that's something that you could do. She told me she records all her stuff in one day and then she just like cadences it out and posts it up like throughout the week. She said she sets it and forgets it and goes to sleep, and then that's it. And, you go in and you engage with your followers, but she grew her following from 0 over a couple of years and now has this great following, and she's making a lot of money off of this. And it's definitely something that's worth mentioning. And then finally, the other guest episode that we have that will be forthcoming is from a woman from London who's a teacher. She shares her tremendous story, and I'm not going to give it away because I was crying during the episode and I had to like excuse myself at one point. But she shares her life story and how she got to where she's at, and now she's flipped the script and is using what she went through to help other women who are also teachers. She's a teacher, so it's focused around that. So it's highly impactful stuff, which is, as Melissa mentioned, we wanted this content to be like that. We want it to be stuff that's impactful, that will make a difference in your lives if you hear these episodes. That's like top of mind for us.
Well, and I mean, honestly, I just love the diversity of voices, women's voices, um, and these their life stories, and where else are you hearing real women, not polished Instagram versions of women, but real women, what they're going through, things that have impacted them. And yeah, you might not identify with exactly with every single guest or every single person, but I just love the diversity of voices that we are collecting, or you are collecting, really, but that this podcast is really bringing together. And I think it's one, it's so needed, and two, it's sort of inspiring to hear all of these strong women and the different circumstances that they're coming from, their different viewpoints, and again, having it be real everyday women that that you're hearing from.
Let's take a quick break.
Are you interested in podcasting but not sure where to start? My name is Jenny Benitez, and I'm here to help guide you through your podcast launch and maintenance. Check out the link in the episode description for Podcasting Unboxed, your comprehensive startup guide. I am very excited to work with you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's really, you're right. It's a diversity of voices, and it's touching on things that are like, may not specifically be addressed, or maybe you didn't even know you wanted to hear about it, but maybe like this is going to be the opening for you. So definitely check out the guest episodes. They're really wonderful. I've been working really hard to make sure that the links and everything are in the descriptions, that if you don't have time, you can actually check out the resources as well. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram, because I have been very actively putting a ton of information out there on our Instagram account, to make sure that you have access to everything you need to have access to. Things to keep an eye out for that will be forthcoming as well. We do have a newsletter in the works that will be sent out monthly. So if you are following us on Instagram, you can check out our link tree. And I'll post all of our links in this episode description, so that way you guys can just click on it and it'll be a little bit easier. But we also have a free resource as well that we distributed through our link tree. So check that out. It's like an at a glance, how to focus and prioritize your day in a positive way document, which is actually really cute. You could print it out. It would be like a small card. You print it out, put it out somewhere, and like it's just an at a glance reminder, like reorient yourself and stay on a good path for the day, and remain in alignment, kind of thing. So little fun things like that in development. Our website is still available to everybody. And then again, like the newsletter will be coming out. I am working on a group as well, like an online virtual group. So that will be forthcoming too. So a lot of really cool things on the horizon for everybody to take a look at. I also wanted to just take a minute here to acknowledge all of the people that have been listening to us over the past, 6 months, I think is where we're at this point.
Crazy.
Well, also because our reach has expanded. So we are in North America, but we also have expanded into Europe, Africa, and Asia, which was very exciting for us. So I did want to give a shout out to everyone listening in Germany, Denmark, Algeria, Canada, Japan, Sweden, and South Africa. We're just so excited that you all have joined us, and it's just amazing. And then also a big shout out to our top 4 areas on the map: Forked River, New Jersey; Homestead, Florida; Coconut Creek, Florida; New York, and I'll throw in there West New York, New Jersey. Honestly, thank you all for following along with us. It's really been incredible thus far, and we're excited to continue the journey with you.
Yes, Steel Roses has officially even further gone global. So we're really thankful. We're glad that our following is growing, because that means more women are tuning in, more or maybe men, who knows, but more listeners are identifying with what we're doing. So that makes us super excited. And we just want to thank all of you for taking the time, because obviously everybody is super busy. So
Yeah, we really appreciate
so
it.
we're
It's been an honor.
we're really grateful.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to cut it here because I think Melissa probably arrived at this point. So thank you for joining us.
I have arrived safely, and
Very
I found
short
a
and sweet
prime
episode,
parking spot.
Yeah, very short and sweet episode, but thank you all for like listening with us and hanging in there with us, and we just greatly appreciate all of you.
And don't forget, send us an email, steelrosespodcast@gmail.com, if you're interested in hearing about a particular topic or want us to expand on something. We really enjoy getting feedback from you guys. So hit us up there, and we hope you all have a great week.
Thanks, everybody.